Welcome back to Narrative Network. What if the person everyone mocked turned out to be the one who inspired them all? This is the incredible story of Jason, a quiet high school student who faced relentless bullying from his wealthy classmates because of his weight. But when he decides to take the stage at the school talent show, his reaction to their mockery leaves everyone in shock and changes their lives forever. Stay until the end to witness how Jason's courage and resilience turned humiliation into triumph in a way no one could have predicted. What would you do in his shoes? Let us know in the comments, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this video with your friends. Let's dive into this unforgettable story. Jason Miller was used to the stares and whispers. At 16, he was the heaviest student in his high school, a fact that made him an easy target for bullies. Jason had always been a kind and gentle soul, but his weight had become the defining trait in the eyes of his classmates. Despite his struggles, he worked hard in school and dreamed of a future where he could escape the ridicule and make something of himself. In the prestigious halls of Crestwood High, Jason's presence was an anomaly. Most of the students came from wealthy families, flaunting designer clothes, expensive cars, and luxurious vacations. Jason, in contrast, came from a modest background. His parents worked tirelessly to support him, instilling in him the values of humility and perseverance. Among the wealthy students were a group of popular kids led by Brandon Matthews. Brandon, along with his clique, Emma, Caleb, and Sophia, ruled the school. They thrived on attention, and Jason was often their favorite target. One Friday afternoon, the school held its annual talent show auditions in the auditorium. Jason, a talented pianist, decided to audition, hoping to showcase his skill for the first time. Music had always been his escape, a place where he felt confident and free from judgment. As Jason walked on stage, Brandon and his group sat in the front row smirking. "What's he going to do? Eat the piano?" Brandon whispered loudly, causing the room to erupt in laughter. Jason paused, gripping the edges of the piano bench tightly. He could feel his face flush with embarrassment. But he steadied himself. Taking a deep breath, he began to play a complex, soulful piece that silenced the room. The melody was hauntingly beautiful, filled with emotion and precision. When he finished, there was a moment of stunned silence before a few students clapped hesitantly. Brandon, however, broke the moment with sarcastic applause. "Not bad, Beethoven," he said, mockingly. "But maybe next time, leave the snacks at home." The crowd burst into laughter, and Jason quickly left the stage, his heart heavy with humiliation. That evening, Jason sat at his piano at home, replaying the events in his mind. He felt a mix of anger, sadness, and frustration. He had poured his heart into that performance, yet his classmates couldn't see past his appearance. Jason's mother, noticing his mood, sat beside him. "What's wrong, sweetheart?" she asked gently. Jason hesitated before sharing what had happened. His mother listened intently and then said, "Jason, people can be cruel, but their words don't define you. You have a gift they don't understand. Use it to show them who you truly are." Her words resonated deeply with Jason. That night, he made a decision. He wouldn't let their ridicule break him. Instead, he would channel his pain into something greater. The following Monday, Crestwood High was buzzing with excitement about an upcoming event, the annual charity showcase. The showcase was the biggest event of the year, attended by students, parents, and community members. It featured performances, competitions, and auctions to raise funds for local charities. Inspired by his mother's encouragement, Jason signed up to perform at the showcase. When Brandon and his group heard about it, they were incredulous. "Seriously, he's doing it again," Emma said, rolling her eyes. "Doesn't he get tired of embarrassing himself?" "Maybe we should give him a little motivation," Brandon said, a mischievous grin spreading across his face. The group devised a plan to humiliate Jason further, convinced that it would cement their status as the most powerful clique in school.
The night of the showcase arrived, and the auditorium was packed. Jason sat backstage, nervously adjusting his sheet music. He could hear the buzz of the crowd and the laughter of Brandon's group from the front row. When it was Jason's turn to perform, he walked on stage, his hands trembling. As he sat at the piano, Brandon called out, "Break a bench, Jason!" The audience laughed, but Jason ignored them, focusing on the keys in front of him. He began to play a piece he had composed himself, a powerful, emotional journey that started with soft, melancholic notes and built into a triumphant crescendo. The music spoke of pain, resilience, and hope. By the time he finished, the auditorium was silent. Many in the audience moved to tears. Jason stood, his heart pounding. For the first time, he felt truly seen. As Jason bowed and began to walk off stage, something unexpected happened. A young girl in the audience stood and began clapping. Slowly, others joined her until the entire room erupted in a standing ovation. Brandon and his group looked around, stunned. Their plan to humiliate Jason had backfired spectacularly. Instead of laughing at him, the audience was celebrating him. Sophia, one of Brandon's friends, whispered, "Maybe we've been wrong about him." After the showcase, Jason was approached by several students and parents, all praising his performance. Even teachers congratulated him, calling it the highlight of the night. But as the crowd thinned, Brandon approached him, his face unreadable. "That was impressive," Brandon admitted grudgingly. "But don't think this changes anything." Jason looked him in the eye, his voice calm but firm. "It doesn't have to change anything for you, but it's changed everything for me. I'm done letting people like you define my worth." Brandon didn't respond, but the words lingered, leaving him unsettled. In the weeks following the showcase, Jason's life began to change. More students began reaching out to him, eager to befriend the boy they had once ignored. He joined the school's music club, where he found a supportive community that valued his talent. As for Brandon and his group, the showcase had forced them to confront their own behavior. Sophia, Emma, and Caleb apologized to Jason, admitting that they had been wrong to judge him. Jason accepted their apologies, but made it clear that he wouldn't tolerate further disrespect. Brandon, however, struggled with his guilt. One day, he found Jason in the music room and hesitated before speaking. "I was a jerk to you," Brandon said finally. "I don't expect you to forgive me, but I'm sorry." Jason looked at him for a long moment before nodding. "Apology accepted, but don't just say it. Be better." Jason's courage and talent continued to inspire those around him. He became a leader in the music club, mentoring younger students and encouraging them to pursue their passions. His story spread beyond Crestwood High, earning him recognition in local newspapers and even a scholarship to a prestigious music academy. Brandon, too, began to change. Humbled by Jason's strength, he started volunteering at local charities, using his influence to support causes like anti-bullying campaigns. While their friendship remained distant, there was mutual respect between the two. Jason's speech at Crestwood High marked a turning point, not just for the students in attendance, but for the culture of the school itself. His story of resilience and triumph over adversity became a cornerstone of the school's values, inspiring programs to combat bullying and encourage inclusivity. Brandon, now a history teacher and one of the leaders of these programs, often reflected on his role in Jason's journey. He used his own mistakes as a teaching tool, reminding his students that growth and change were always possible. "Jason taught me a lesson I'll never forget," Brandon would say during his classes. "It's never too late to make things right." Jason's journey didn't stop at Crestwood. His music and story continued to touch lives far beyond the school's walls. His debut album, Strength Within, became a bestseller, with songs that told raw and emotional stories of his struggles and triumphs. The album resonated with listeners who had faced bullying, self-doubt, and adversity, giving them hope and strength. Jason also became a sought-after motivational speaker, traveling the world to share his story. He visited schools, community centers, and even military bases, speaking to audiences about the power of perseverance and self-worth. At one event, a young boy approached Jason with tears in his eyes. "I've been bullied for years because I'm different," he said. "Hearing your story made me feel like I'm not alone." Jason knelt down and said, "You're never alone. And don't let anyone make you feel like you don't matter. You're stronger than you think." Years after leaving Crestwood, Jason was invited to a special alumni event celebrating the school's 50th anniversary. When he arrived, he was greeted by familiar faces, teachers who had supported him, classmates who had become friends, and even some who had once mocked him. Brandon, now a beloved figure at the school, approached Jason with a handshake that turned into a hug. "I can't tell you how proud I am of you," Brandon said. "You've become someone who changes lives." Jason smiled. "You played a part in that, believe it or not. I wouldn't be where I am if he hadn't learned how to stand up to people like you." The two shared a laugh, the tension of their past replaced by mutual respect and understanding. With the success of his music career and speaking engagements, Jason decided to give back in a way that honored his journey. He founded the Strength Within Foundation, an organization dedicated to helping young people facing bullying, self-esteem issues, and other challenges. The foundation offered scholarships, mentorship programs, and creative outlets like music and art to empower kids to find their voice and embrace their individuality. The foundation's annual gala became a major event drawing celebrities, philanthropists, and community leaders who supported Jason's mission. At the first gala, Jason invited Brandon as a guest of honor, introducing him as someone who had shown that change and growth were possible. Brandon, moved by the recognition, spoke briefly. "Jason didn't just inspire me to be a better person. He inspired me to help others see the best in themselves. That's his gift to all of us." As Jason's influence grew, his name became synonymous with resilience and kindness. Schools adopted his story into their anti-bullying curriculums, and his foundation expanded internationally, reaching children in underserved communities around the world. Crestwood High, inspired by Jason's impact, renamed their music hall in his honor, the Jason Miller Center for Creativity and Resilience. At the dedication ceremony, Jason performed one of his signature pieces, the same one he had played during the talent show all those years ago. The room was filled with applause, tears, and admiration. Years after his foundation and music career had reached international acclaim, Jason found himself in an unexpected yet deeply fulfilling role, mentoring young talent. He worked closely with aspiring musicians, many of whom had faced challenges similar to his own. One such student, Mia, was a shy but talented pianist who struggled with stage fright. She reminded Jason of himself during his high school days, timid but filled with potential. During one of their sessions, Mia confessed, "I'm scared people will laugh at me." Jason knelt beside her and said, "They might, but you have to remember that their laughter doesn't define you. Your courage does. Let your music speak for you." Mia went on to win a regional music competition, dedicating her performance to Jason. "He believed in me when I didn't believe in myself," she said tearfully during her acceptance speech. As Jason's legacy grew, Crestwood High became a hub for promoting kindness and inclusion. The Jason Miller Center for Creativity and Resilience introduced scholarships and workshops aimed at empowering students to overcome adversity through art, music, and mentorship. One year, the school organized a reunion for students and faculty whose lives had been touched by Jason's story. Among the attendees were many who had once laughed at him, including Caleb, Emma, and Sophia from Brandon's old clique. "I used to think being popular meant putting others down," Sophia admitted during the event. "But Jason showed me that true greatness comes from lifting others up. I'll always be grateful for that lesson." Though his foundation had achieved incredible milestones, Jason felt there was still more to be done. He began working on a documentary titled The Strength Within, chronicling his journey and the stories of others who had turned their struggles into strengths. The project became a deeply personal endeavor, allowing Jason to reflect on how far he had come. The documentary featured interviews with his mother, Brandon, and even some of the students he had mentored over the years. It concluded with a powerful message: "We all have the power to rise above, and in doing so, we inspire others to do the same." The film debuted to critical acclaim, winning awards for its raw and heartfelt storytelling. It was shown in schools across the globe, further cementing Jason's place as a beacon of hope. In his late 40s, Jason returned to Crestwood High once more, this time to deliver the commencement address for the graduating class. Standing on the stage where he had once been mocked, he looked out at the sea of young faces and began his speech. "Life isn't about avoiding pain or failure," he said. "It's about using those moments to build your strength. I once sat where you are, unsure of my place in the world, but I learned that our greatest power lies in our ability to rise, to create, and to inspire." After the ceremony, a group of students approached Jason, sharing how his story had encouraged them to face their own challenges. One student, a young boy named Ethan, said, "I was bullied too, but your story gave me the courage to stand up for myself." Jason smiled. "Then you've already won, Ethan. Keep believing in yourself." Years later, Jason received a call informing him that he had been nominated for a prestigious humanitarian award. The award recognized individuals who had made significant contributions to fostering kindness, inclusivity, and empowerment. At the ceremony, as Jason accepted the award, he reflected on the moment that had set his journey in motion, the decision to perform at the school talent show despite the ridicule. "I didn't know it then," he said. "But that performance wasn't just about proving something to others, it was about proving something to myself. And that's a lesson I'll carry forever." Jason's life and work continued to touch countless lives, creating ripples of change that spanned generations. His foundation grew to include mental health initiatives, scholarships for underprivileged students, and global outreach programs aimed at breaking cycles of bullying and inequality. Crestwood High became known as a school of compassion, where students were encouraged to celebrate their differences and uplift one another. Jason's story was woven into the fabric of the school's identity, reminding every student that strength comes from within. As Jason sat at his piano one quiet evening, playing the piece that had once silenced a room of bullies, he felt a profound sense of peace. His journey had come full circle, and his legacy of resilience, kindness, and hope would endure long after the final note. Thank you for watching. If this story inspired you, don't forget to hit that subscribe button for more powerful and uplifting content. Share this video with your friends and family to spread the message of resilience and hope. We'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. See you in the next video.